Tonight on Kutsime.
Girls of today will sit around and say, I need somebody to pay my rent for the rest of the year. And the other girls will be like, how about your boss? He seems like he likes them girls. Then the game plan is made for you, gentlemen. And you think you're smooth, you think you're smart, you think the girls can resist you. You are the prey.
It's that time again. Grab the crew and let's chat.
If you're gonna walk around with half your booty sticking out,
Because it's my
we will
booty.
look. Yeah, but so when we look, why are you mad? You dress that way for us
Why-
to look,
why-
but we're
why
looking.
you looking?
It's there.
Salibonani, hello and welcome to Kutsime Asihlanganeni. Let's chat. Now, Chuck Gnosis, that was just fire, man. Don't you want to just do a segment where we dance?
No, I want my own show.
You want your own
Yeah, I
show?
want my own show. Where you guys get to dance.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know about that. But producers, please, just one segment, just to shake it a little bit. Now, with me in studio, I have Natasha.
Hey.
Honey Boo Boo.
Hi.
And of course, Chuck Gnosis, who keeps us, calm and collected when tempers are flaring all over the place on set. And remember to comment, like, and share. And if you haven't clicked on the subscribe button, make sure you do so.
And keep the conversations going in the comment section so we could take it to Kutsime Extra.
That's right.
Which is every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on our Facebook page, Kutsime.
Right, so I guess we've got all that out the way and we need to just get into what we're talking about today. So the last time we had gentlemen on set, and boy, did they bring it.
They brought it.
Yes. But we learned a couple of things from them as well, that men do have it hard, they have it tough. And as women, at times we just need to cut them some slack.
Not a lot, but just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, within reason. So today we are talking about women empowerment. What does it even mean? Who is an empowered woman? So when you look at me as a woman, what gauge do they use to say this is an empowered woman, that's not an empowered woman? How many posts do you see on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn? I'm a woman, I'm empowered. Everything is always about woman empowerment. When you hear woman empowerment, what do you hear?
What do I think? I think, a woman sitting in a high role, a woman doing her own thing, a woman managing her own life, not a kept woman, a woman who just manages her life.
Basically financially stable.
Financially stable, whether she's not yet there, but pushing to get there,
Yeah. Chucks, when you hear, I don't even want to know.
I don't think we want to hear that answer.
But Chucks, when you hear woman empowerment, because the statement gets abused a lot, right?
You guys make it so complicated. It's like you've taken a pill. I'm empowered. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
You guys sound, no, but yeah, like what Natasha said, it's a woman in obviously in a high position and able to take all the abuse from the co-workers and subordinates, and we're used to seeing men in that position, yeah? So when a woman gets to that level, she feels she needs to let the world know, which is not a bad thing.
But letting the world know, does she do it in a good way? From your experience, does she do it in a good way, or like you could?
Or does it go to her head?
Sometimes, you feel like it gets to the head because of certain things that they do. They become a bit too loud, but I'm happy to see a woman in that position, because they deserve it, they've worked for it, they've gone to school, they got their PhD, they got their degrees, and the rest of the company feels that she needs to be in that position because they feel that she can run it. So let it be. I mean, it's not like she needs to let the whole world know, but at the end of the day, like I said, it's like they've taken a pill,
A certain type of drug.
Yes,
you have experienced something or the other in terms of a woman in a powerful position or a position of power. What happened?
Okay, so on my side, I will agree with Chuck's there. Initially, it got to my head and I had to get a firm rebuke from home. Like, my David, bossiness ends at work. When you come home,
Were you taking it at home?
I think sitting here, I'll be like, no, I wasn't. But I'm sure some things came out that were like, trying to be a boss at home. And then I think he heard me on the phone with someone, and he told me, you know, you don't have to shout to get the job done. You can just get the job done by having a normal conversation with someone. You don't. There doesn't have to be any bossiness. And because you're a female, you feel like you have to take it a notch higher
To be heard.
To be heard. And I found that once I went the route that I was advised on, everything works well.
All right. So you took the advice, and I'm hoping you're putting it into practice.
I am. That's why I
Nice.
said now that I've you know taken the role of speaking to people properly, you know, airing your views
Without shouting.
without shouting, explaining yourself, getting your instruction out there. You find that you're listened to more, you're respected more. You don't have to throw your weight around for the job to be done. Explain yourself, help. One thing that I've been taught that I live by is that even though you're in a high position, roll up your sleeves, do the dirty work, and people will respect you more.
All right. So, Kenisha, you are also in the corporate world.
Yes.
When you look at the women in power or in powerful positions, CEO, group head CEO, you know, just I'm the boss.
Yes.
Do you feel like they abuse that position because I'm a woman and you are going to listen to me like what she was saying? Or do you feel like, no, they deserve the jobs that they have and they really actually like worked for it?
I would say majority of the women nowadays have definitely earned their positions, because from a young age we are empowering our daughters. The girl child, she's getting an education, she is being taught, no, forget about being a wife and a mother. Get an education, build yourself first.
Right.
So 100%, I think the women nowadays in top positions have definitely earned it.
True.
Compared to back in the day
compared
when
to back in
you
the day.
had to use certain leverages because you're a woman, you know, to get that position.
Right.
Now I think it's...
Whilst we're on that, I've got a question for Chucks. Chucks, I've noticed in the corporate world, men tend to downlook women, or question women that are in high-powered role. How did she get there? What did she do to get there? Am I true, or is that just office gossip?
Yep.
Okay, what I believe is that when a woman doesn't know what she's doing, say she's in a high position, yeah, and she doesn't know what she's doing, it doesn't necessarily
That's
mean
where the problem
is.
comes.
Because you're there,
Yeah.
right? So show us how you got there.
Okay.
But they tend to lose their temper a bit, you get what I mean? Because they're wrong. So they raise their voice and they become very demanding. To me, that's a sign of not knowing what you're doing.
So being a woman is not enough. You need to know exactly what it is you are doing. When we come back, we have guests on the show, and these are women in powerful positions. These are women who are bringing it both in the business world and also at home. They've managed to find a balance. This and more when we come back.
Hey, what's poppin'? Mama's Pop Snacks. Melted goodness. Mama's Pop Snacks. It's Nibili King Mlane. Mama's Pop Snacks. What's poppin'? What's poppin'? Mama's Pop Snacks. Ipolato. It's Nibili King Mlane. Mama's Pop Snacks.
It is Kutsime Asithanganeni Let's Chat, and we are back with our guests in studio. Two excellent women who have done the most when it comes to business and women empowerment. We've got Sharon Bwanya, a commercial lawyer and now COO of an investment management firm, and Nomaliso Msasiwa, MD for Fresh in a Box. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you, Becky.
Looking lovely. I'm feeling empowered just sitting next to you. Like, please leave some of this energy. Please leave it. All right, so we are talking about women empowerment, and it's a term that has been abused. It's a term that has been misused, and it's also a term that has been portrayed correctly, right? So in your personal views, what is women empowerment?
In my view, it's giving power to women who are in spaces where they are disempowered or not empowered. I don't know if I have a better term.
And you, Sharon?
I would phrase it a little differently. Instead of giving them the power, it's allowing women to tap into their own power. Breaking that mental barrier that says I'm powerless or I am less than, because the only true power is the one that is intrinsic, not one that is exposed. So for me, it is enabling women to tap into that power and release it.
All right. You mentioned that it's not a power that they are given, but a power that they find themselves.
Exactly.
How often are women given, I'll term it false power, because it's not your own. You are now like literally feeding off what you're told to behave like.
Most of the time.
Most of the time?
Yeah. And that is the problem. The whole thing with women empowerment, in my view, is self-determination. So once you start talking about being told how to behave, that is not true.
Are women told how to behave in the
Yes and no. But then when it comes to being given power, I think of affirmative action. Like it's well, they've said they need to be included, or they need power, therefore let's give them this portion for them to be represented. And it's no longer about the merit of the women there. It's now about, well, we had to give a woman the spot. But is the woman firstly deserving of whatever position that is? Yes. So why are we saying it? Because she is a woman.
Have you have you ever come across women, because I know before you went into your business you were in a formal setup. Did you ever come across women that you would just look at it and be like, sha urukuthi nyadzisa, why usijangisa kanje? So
Yes, Yangisa, no. But then I've seen women, especially in political parties, that are given the space, like I said, because of affirmative action, and you're given a quota that you must fill up this quota with women. Therefore, we'll pick anyone with a vagina, raise your hands, and you move along. And
so like
we haven't,
puppet, just be there.
we haven't really gone through do you understand what we're doing here? Do you follow the ideology, or are you capable of carrying this idea to life? You know, and at the end of the day, you look and say, I know why you're here, but could you have said no? Is that okay? Because that's also a form of power, saying no to things that...
But can women say no? Have you ever said no and felt bad? Because I know some women, when they say no, they are second guessing, which, oh my goodness, why did I say that? No from a woman is very, it's a tricky thing.
It's funny you ask that. One time I was remarking about how my no voice has become louder because of my daughter, who's very good with no thanks, without feeling obligated. It's just a polite no thanks. Do you want to come play this game? No thanks, mom. And I find that I didn't grow up feeling that it's okay to just say no thanks, because there's something about being a girl and a woman where likability is important, and likability and no thank you don't go hand in hand. It's like oh, Sharon, you look really pretty today. I must say, why, yes, thank you. Even if I feel a little offended by that, to be likable means you must be polite.
Like that.
Why would you be offended about you look pretty?
So it depends about who says it.
Yes, but today.
Yeah, maybe you don't always carry yourself in a manner where you look pretty all the time.
No, it's actually, it's very interesting because it's all in the how it is said. So if I walk in a boardroom to negotiate a deal and somebody says, hello, how are you, to all my male counterparts, and when they see me, they say, my, aren't we looking pretty? I have a problem with
I appreciate that part. I thought it was just, we can't take compliments. I think there's a lot of confusion around women who are in positions of power and refusing compliments when it's not about that. So I accept saying how it's said is always an issue, and also the setting. I've heard many women say, you know, boardroom with other men. Yes, men will always do that. Sometimes you're considered the secretary when
like please take the minutes. There's no like sitting around.
So for instance, I'll give you an example. We walked into a board meeting. I'm the only female. And unfortunately or unfortunately, my partner is my husband.
Right.
Then we all sit down and all the men look at me like, are you going to take minutes? I was like, surely y'all don't think I'm here because I can take minutes?
So who took the minutes?
They had to call a secretary. Unfortunately, she was a woman, but had it been a man, I then hired a male PA, but that's for another time. Yes, for that reason.
Okay, so why is it that men then feel like because you are the woman, then you should do the little piece jobs because you are the woman?
I think it's a systematic thing. If I went one by one to them, I don't think they are men that think like that. But then it was well, usually we have a woman, and since you are the only woman, please do.
Let's talk sexual harassment in the workplace. We just spoke about compliments, right? Where do you draw the line? Could compliments kwenda sexual harassment? So
funny story again on that. I am full of the anecdotes. I'm working on a commercial transaction. I'm negotiating the fee. The client on the other side, a male, I wasn't even the lead on the deal, my senior partner was, says, send Sharon over to discuss the fee. So we try and discuss a mutually convenient time. All of the times I'm suggesting they don't work for him except 7:30 in the morning. Now I'm okay with that because I'm an early bird. So yes, 7:30, come over to my office. I was working in town, his office was in town. I walk across, it's a 5-minute walk. I am in there, I think the bill was 80K, that's what I had charged. He wanted to pay 60, so we're, you know, going back and forth. Then he steps away from his desk and moves over to where I am, and he says, you know, Sharon.
Holds you by the shoulder.
Yes, you know, Sharon, we could make this 65, you know, that suggestive way. And clearly alarm bells are ringing. And in that moment, I am doing the calculations in my head. First of all, I went to his office before official working hours. Now I am stuck in this space where nothing really has happened except this very unwelcome hand on my shoulder. So I excuse myself. No, it's okay. Let's think about this. I'm going to talk to the senior partner as I walk away
from that
this
situation.
big burly man. Now, the viewers might not see it because I'm sitting here, but I'm tiny, like pint-sized tiny. And he's this big man, and he comes, and what it felt like was he came crashing into me. His version of a hug. All I see are his...
Why was he hugging you?
I don't know. All I see are his man boobs. And I'm suffocating and I want to scream. But remember, there's nobody. This is 7:30 in the morning. Well, maybe by then 7:45. Then he lets go, but I froze in shock. The thing that broke me is, as I was walking out, he's like, maybe we can make it 70. As if by me succumbing to the hug where he crashed into me, I had earned an extra 5K. And I wanted to cry, but you know, you're a strong girl. I'm walking back to the office. I'm keeping it together. I get to the office and I go into my office and I just break down. And so somebody noticed I wasn't fine. And they say, what is it? I don't want to talk about it. My heart is racing. I call my husband. I tell him this is what happened. He's obviously pissed off his mind. And somebody says, do you want to make a police report?
What did you do?
That's when I realized how messed up the system was. I ran the scenarios in my head. I ran how this would be played out by society.
What were you doing there?
I went to his office before working hours. Hold up. Then what did he do exactly? He hugged me.
I would have probably asked,
imagine
what did
the
he
officer.
do exactly?
I'm trying to
Had you
explain
hugged
to this
before?
But how violated did I feel?
Yeah, I accept.
Extremely violated. So I then bring this up on a group chat with my friends, and every single one of them had a worse experience than mine, that they had never talked about, that they had just internalized.
So are you saying women are stuck in their homes, in their offices, suffering or going through sexual harassment and not being able to talk about it?
Let's talk about why we're not able to talk about it. It's about the reactions you can expect to get from a society made up of men and women.
Yeah.
Who resynthesize this process. And I might end up like the gold digger who went after this rich man, and I didn't get what I wanted, and now I am crying, I'm screaming sexual abuse in the form of a hug.
Norma, before we go on to our ad break, what's your take on sexual harassment? Do we know the difference, or we are just like, because it's tricky, let me just leave it alone?
I think the moment you feel violated as an individual is when you define that this is sexual harassment. If you define it according to any law, any policy, or somebody else, you will fail to identify what has been done to you because you have been harmed. So sexual harassment should be, if somebody holds your hand and you are not a touchy-feely person, I've never shown you that I am a affectionate person, you are violating and you're sexually harassing me.
All right, so when we come back, more from Nomaliso and Sharon. Keep it tuned on Kutsime. We'll be back.
What's poppin'? Mama's Pop Snacks. Melted goodness. Mama's Pop Snacks. It's Mibili King and London. Mama's Pop Snacks. What's poppin'? What's poppin'?
Indaba Zabafazi as Peli, and we brought the women who are going to help us to understand exactly what we are doing with our lives, with ourselves as women when it comes to women empowerment. Now, it's a vast and broad subject to talk about because it covers a lot of things. Before we went on the break, we were talking to Sharon about the gruesome experience she went through with some man boobs. And I'm just so happy that you overcame that, although it was not a nice... I was looking at your eyes and I was like, please don't cry. Your makeup looks so good. Please don't cry. But sexual harassment is not only physical. It goes verbal as well. Where can we assist the women, Kuti? Even if a guy talks to you in this manner, don't accept.
So I feel like this is one of those things that, as with the broader women empowerment discussion, you can't just focus on the women. It's one of those things that needs to be inclusive. Now, every young woman will tell you the terror that we don't talk about, but it is the terror of walking past a group of young men who may be silent in that moment, but everybody can identify with the quickening heartbeats and how vulnerable you feel in that moment. Now, there is nothing you can say to me that can make me feel safe in that moment. But there's a lot you can do with raising awareness with the young men about how vulnerable they make us feel with that catcalling, with the comments. They say hello, and it's very tricky. You want to say hello back, but then that's a whole thing. If you don't say hello, then they cue the insults.
Okay, but I'm not defending them, but I'm just saying, why would men react in a certain way if you were just minding your own business, just walking by?
You tell us, because...
Is it the way you're dressed?
Well, what's wrong with the way I dress?
No, I'm just saying, we're getting there. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to understand, why would you feel uncomfortable?
Asking, is it the way I'm dressed?
No, that's what she said, that it'd be difficult
she just said
for
I'm
her.
walking past, whether I'm dressed in my Predatory garments or I'm dressed in a...
If you're dressed in a Predatory garment, I don't think you get that much attention.
They feel like that.
You know what I mean?
You know how women
but
feel?
When you are
let's stop the mansplaining.
All right.
We are telling you how we feel.
Yeah.
And this happens to us regardless of how we're dressed. So you do not get to say this depends on how you're dressing.
I don't think
because this is our experience. You can't dumb down an experience. This is the problem. Women raise issues, you trivialize them because you're not on the receiving end.
No.
Now hang on.
Okay.
I am going to start. I did this experiment once. It was in my younger chickier days. For every man who looked at me funny, I looked below their zip line. You should have seen how vulnerable they look, how vulnerable they felt. Now I'm gonna try that. Move over. Move away from the counter. Let me look at you. Move away.
Come over this side.
No, let me look at you. Do not hide behind the stand.
No, all right, I get your point.
You get the point.
What I'm trying to
it
say is
doesn't
this
matter
here,
how you're dressed.
not all men do what you're saying.
Did we say all men?
No,
Did
but
Norma say all?
You just said a group of
Guys,
men.
let's be fair here. Women tend to dress a bit inappropriate these days. Not all women.
Who are you
Appropriate.
to define appropriate?
If you're gonna walk around with half your booty sticking out,
Because it's my
we will
booty.
look. Yeah, but so when we look, why are you mad? You dress that way for us to look, but we're
why
looking.
you looking?
It's there.
Why are you
what do you
looking?
mean? It's right there. Cover yourself. You're gonna expose it. I will look.
Can you not look away instead of look at
No,
the
why-
booty?
I feel
'Cause
like we're
those are two
falling
options
into a
you have.
trap.
Can you look away?
Yes,
That's
we
a very
can.
good option.
Some
Do
men
that.
can. I can.
Do that.
Yeah, but why you
So
dress
teach
like that?
men,
It's
like
not-
Sharon was saying,
You don't see us
look
men walking
away.
around wearing, exposing things. We don't do that.
I have a question for Chuck to ponder while we move on.
While we move on, go ahead.
How badly dressed are these 2-month-old babies who get raped? How badly dressed are these 87-year-old gogos who get raped? Do not answer. Stew on that.
So
Stew
you're
on
saying
that. Stew on it. Stew on it. Stew on it. Now back to women in the workplace. You get women who have worked their way to those powerful positions, and then you get women who lie on their back to get those, and then they put themselves in vulnerable positions.
Those are empowered women.
Yeah.
My kind of girls.
That's the most controversial thing.
My kind of girl.
Men take each other to bars and cigar houses so that they can be enticed also, and make sure that there are girls who look very mighty fine to entice them for them to get the deal. If you are going to get the deal, use any resource to your means to get what you need to get.
Please say it slowly. I'm just for the girls at the back. to hear.
I'm just saying, like, if you know what you're doing, then do it. But don't put yourself in a position where you end up being violated.
Okay, so if you're saying, here I am damn good at what I do, but I'm not being given a chance.
And there's someone who's supposed to give me that
There's
chance.
someone who's at a higher position, who's capable of giving me that chance. I can just slide in the DM and be like, so listen. And then I get my thing, and then I must prove it as well when I'm at work.
Yeah, but most of the time.
Absolutely, but then most of the time we're failed by women who then can't prove.
Thank you very
Who
much.
can't do the
Just took the
job.
words out of my mouth.
Saga
do
women,
the job.
if you're going to do the other deed,
Make
prove
sure
it.
you are able to do the other thing.
Make sure.
It might actually sound shocking the way Noma is saying it, but I remember having a discussion with my male colleagues that they might think they are the predators when they are the prey. Because these girls of today will sit around and say, I need somebody to pay my rent for the rest of the year. And the other girls will be like, how about your boss? He seems like he likes
He's a
them
nice
girl.
guy.
Then the game plan is made for you, gentlemen. And you think you're smooth, you think you're smart, you think the girls can resist you. You are the prey. And this is an important conversation because at the core of women empowerment, you can't divorce that discussion from empowered sexuality, because more often than not, our sexuality is used against us. Dress this way, behave this way, safeguard your hymen,
Hide this.
get married.
Keep your bedroom tools.
You can't even get into politics without people saying, is she married?
Yes.
If you are as
is she
aggressive and
married?
animated as some of us tend
let me
to
just
be,
break this down for the guys out there for what you just said. It's okay for you guys to come at me saying that, who are you to say or tell us how to dress, right? That's what was point one. But now what you guys just say right now is that, oh, you guys are the prey, right? We know what we're doing. You're gonna slide in the DM, then we're gonna do A, B, C, D to get what we want.
For a false equivalent.
Whatever you wanna call it. Then we get there, right? Then you are now, most of the time, failure to understand that we as men, we know what you're doing.
oh, do you?
Oh,
But
yes,
you
we
play
do.
along, Saka.
Yeah, we play along, exactly. But then when you get to that point and then
Can
you
I
fail
just
to
say
deliver,
something, Chuck?
this is when people are now saying, this woman, to get to that position, she slept with Ningi, 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 Ningi.
Can I say
But you
something?
knew what you were doing. So when
there's
you're
two
not
things
labeled
here.
as a,
In
in that
two
section,
scenarios,
then
there's
you're like,
something called
oh,
consent.
as women, we're always being victimized. But you said it right now that you know how to dress to entice men. And then you play the tricks, and then eventually you get to that position, which most of women fail to
But
live
you cut
anyway.
me off,
But
and when
then
I was
didn't
making
cut
the
you
point
off.
about
I didn't cut you off.
sexuality,
I
I
didn't
was
cut you
saying,
off.
see what you're saying is,
Yeah.
I'm talking about how the sexuality is used against us, right? That I must be of pure virtue when it comes to my sexuality. Otherwise, I am an HOE and I am unworthy. Now, the man who sleeps around doesn't get that label. I mean, he's a top dog. He's smart. He's really
But what
good.
You just said women of
on.
nowadays are the predators. You just said it. So
That is my point. So, Bex,
sorry.
how
Sorry.
do I make this? Pamsoroi, maybe I might appeal to the manly sense.
Don't.
Wait until the point is made. What you do is you're conflating issues. When we're talking about men who sexually harass women at work, you can't bring up the fact that there are women who go after men. That's a different discussion, and they're two important discussions. If a man feels violated because a woman has used her sexuality to get into his wallet, let him bring that conversation. But you don't use that to silence me with the men boobs crushing into me, because that's separate.
I wasn't using that.
But you do that. We raise a point and you bring the other side of it.
I have
there
to
are many
defend men on the other side.
But
you
you're
guys
defending on
you're-
the wrong
No,
spectrum.
listen.
Consent.
Not all men do this.
Consent in
Let's get
those
this right.
two-
Not
in
all
those
men.
two-
Hold up. Not all men do this. Yeah. You just said that women are predators. That underlines a lot.
A good conversation is enjoyed and appreciated over time. Kutsime Extra is the platform where we talk a whole lot more. Catch Kutsime Extra every Tuesday on our Facebook page. Kutsime, asihlanganeni. Let's chat.
Welcome back. This is the final segment of our great, beautiful topic on women empowerment. I'm learning so much. Thank you, ladies, for breaking it down differently, because when we think women empowerment, we think money. We think Iowa is just about making money, but you really brought it and said, no, you need to be in control. That's how you know you're an empowered woman. Now, in the previous segment, Mr. Chuck Gnosis there touched a nerve.
Yes, he did. I think we need to also put into context that women are reasoning beings. So when you talk about appropriate dressing, you are trying to say that this woman walked out of wherever she was going without thinking about where is she going to. You will not see a woman walking into a boardroom in bum shorts, but you will see a woman headed to the beach in bum shorts because the event and place requires that. So anyone who then says, well, you must learn to dress appropriately, please school yourself on the fact that women are reasoning beings.
Not all of you are reasoning
No, we
beings.
all are.
Yeah.
All of us.
Let me bring
All
it.
are.
You broke
Even
it down.
strippers don't go to the strip club with
A polo neck.
long garments.
Eh.
They are supposed to be appealing
Yeah,
in their clothing.
I hear
They
you.
choose it appropriately.
Okay, you hear her, but
Yes,
But
the
then
bad
you don't
part
hear
is that.
me. This is the problem with men. So let's
No.
not pay attention to that.
Ah, come on. Listen, when
he's
you
not
speak, I
hearing.
speak.
moving
Yeah.
on with empowering women. You know what? Sharon actually said, no, I'm going to ride with this. Sharon actually said, when women are given a platform to speak and, you know, say out what they feel, a man always wants to put his voice there.
And
So,
trivialize. So I would appreciate if we carry on and discuss what we came to talk about.
let's discuss what we came to talk about. In your line of business as a commercial lawyer, and then now you are into investment, how are you impacting the next generation woman on how to be empowered?
So I'll take it back to the beginning, where for me it's more of the mental emancipation. So when you look at the equal access to opportunity, in this country we've come a long way. Women used to be perpetual minors. You can't buy a car, can't buy a house without your husband or your father co-signing on it. You couldn't vote, going to school wasn't a right. So we have come a long way in terms of what the system can do to remove barriers. Now there's still some challenges, but I would like to boldly say we in this generation are fortunate enough to have everything we need, not want, everything we need to get ahead. So we've come a long way there. In terms of impacting the next generation, for me, it's more in the way we raise our daughters and our sons.
So from a young age?
From a young age, because this is where the mental strongholds are done. Like I said, I'm full of anecdotes. My daughter is in primary school. In grade 1, they had this race. Was a wheelbarrow full of some toys. They had to race with a wheelbarrow, empty it, race again, come back and fill it in. Now they are grade 1, 6 years old. The girls got to the part where you emptied. They carefully took each piece out. The boys just... And then on the way back of putting it back in, the girls are careful, shapes, order, direction. Now, this is a function of nurturing. It shows just how much by the age 6, we've told women, little girls, about who they are and how they must behave. And the liberty and non-restriction we've given to the little boys. So you might come at me when I'm 16 and try to tell me I am empowered, but when I was raised thinking that my dissent does not matter, my opinion does not matter, when all of this is reinforced every day, when a boy cries because I've come first, it tells me I must have done something wrong. Girls cannot come first. If I am first in math, they're like, I should be first in English. All these reinforcements. So it's all about how we capture them in the first 5 years, in my view. If we lose them then, we can do all the systematic things, but as long as they don't believe it, as long as they don't feel entitled to it, as long as they don't feel deserving of their ambition, as long as they think that my ultimate is marriage and motherhood, and I sacrifice all my dreams and ambition at the altar of motherhood and marriage, we are wasting time. We do it right in the first 5 years. That's how we impact the next generation. Norma said something when the cameras were not rolling. She said, who are you married to? And I said, oh, this wonderful guy who lets me do. And then I said, hold up, he doesn't let me, he supports me. But in my mind, I'm 35 now, but I grew up thinking I need a man's permission. I need my husband's permission. And it's a lot of undamage control that I have to do, and rewriting my mind, and not everybody's strong enough for that. So if we are to be fair and really impact, it's in those formative years where we get them or lose them. That's my view.
Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of today's segment, Women Empowerment. If we continue talking, we might just take away all the juiciness from it. If you enjoyed watching this, you will enjoy what's coming up next. Remember to comment, like, and share, and also to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, every Tuesday at 7 p.m., we continue the conversation on our Facebook page on Kutsime Extra. Until next time, bye-bye.